welcome back to my channel. This video is all about planning my projects for the final quarter of 2019. So that's all the writing and videos I'd like to work on during October, November and December. Before I start talking about my new goals, projects and tasks, I'm going to share how I got on with them during last quarter by going over my post-it task board. This is what is left of my to-do. A lot of it is to do with my essay. My videos, I've actually done these, so these can go over onto here. And I did 8 videos for September and I've only decided to do 4. So that is essentially what my to-do list is like at the end of the quarter. I don't think that is too bad. And it's quite nice to see everything that I have achieved. And this one in particular, the YouTube one, meant that I achieved my YouTube goal, which was to gain 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. My goal for my novel was to be on the route to publication, i.e. having a completed final draft ready in order to start sending that out to literary agents. I haven't got that ready. However, what I have done is restructured, replanned it. I've got a character arc, I've got a proper plot, and I also understand more what the theme of the novel is about. So I've done a lot of work on my novel, and something that I wouldn't have done without having this method, because essentially I just worked on one post-it at a time. In terms of these orange ones, they are my essays for my patrons on Patreon that I hope one day to compile into a self-published book all about online creativity. That did go south a little bit. I just couldn't do it. Just physically, I was exhausted from the move and from all the painkillers I was on and everything, and I could only do so much, and I decided to prioritise my novel and my videos, which is fair enough. It's not been a bad quarter, and this is the first time that I've ever done this method of planning and breaking everything down into really super small tasks, but I am so pleased with how it's all turned out. So that's how I got on last quarter with all my goals, projects and tasks. Last quarter I had 2 goals. One was YouTube based and one was novel based. This quarter I'm going to have 3 goals. Before I talk about those 3 goals, I do want to mention I do have a bigger goal than those 3 individual ones, and I'd like to talk about that a little bit now. And the best way for me to do this is by using a diagram. So my first goal, or my main goal, is to generate an income from my writing, creativity and online presence. That is always there, although I won't talk about that a lot, because for each quarter I want to focus in on smaller goals, because if I just think about this, it's very big, it's so daunting, and if I don't achieve any income during one particular quarter, because at the moment I'm laying the foundation stones, then I've got a tendency to beat myself up. So for each quarter I divide it up into smaller goals, and last quarter I had 2 goals, which was to gain 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and with my novel it was to get it ready to send out to agents, which the first one I did, the YouTube one I did, but the novel one I didn't do, but I still made a lot of headway. And that's what's important at the end of the day. Even if you don't quite meet your goals, you've still made a big impact towards them. This quarter I have 3 goals, and one of them is a writing goal. One of them again is a YouTube goal, and one of them is what I'm going to call branding, which I'll explain more about in a moment. So the writing goal, now last quarter I said I wanted to get it ready to submit, and part of the reason why it wasn't ready to submit and I didn't quite meet my goal was because we moved house. I've spoken about that at length, and it was the summer holidays, so I was spending time with my children and there was an illness. So I'm thinking this quarter there's going to be half term where I spend some time with my children, I take some time off work, and also we've got Christmas, and the run up to Christmas is so incredibly busy that I tend to take a step back from writing. So I am going to be a bit more realistic as to what I can achieve this quarter, and my writing goal is essentially just to keep pushing on and getting closer to submitting it out. So to keep going basically with novel and essays. Essentially it is to keep going. With YouTube it's a bit easier to quantify, and that is for me to have 240,000 minutes of watch time per year, because that, along with the 1,000 subscribers, will mean that I hopefully will get invited by YouTube to monetize my channel. I would like to get those 240,000 watch minutes. And then branding. Now, this is more of a mishmash goal, but essentially it is me rebranding myself online as a writer, and this is something I've done on YouTube. When you look at my YouTube channel, you know I am a writer. But when you look at my blog, and when you looked at my Instagram, and when you look at my newsletters, it's the writing isn't the dominant thing, and that's what I'd like to do. So for example, on my Instagram over the last 10 days, couple of weeks, I have basically been solely focused on putting my writing as photographs on my Instagram, and that is all part of me basically admitting it to myself that I am a writer, but also sharing with the world that I am a writer too. So it's basically branding myself as a writer. And that's going to be broken down into a number of projects, as well, all of them are going to be broken down into projects. So with my writing, I have 2 projects on the go. I have my novel, so this is projects now. So for each goal, 1, 2, 3, I'll have a number of projects. So with my writing, I have my novel called Burnt Chocolate, and I also have my essays on Patreon. And then with my YouTube, basically the project there is to be consistent uploads, quality videos. And then with my branding, I've got Instagram, IGTV. I'm doing that separate even though they're both Instagram. I've got my blog, and I've got my newsletter. So they're 4 small projects. These are big projects. My writing ones are the big ones. The YouTube is a big one, but these are smaller, sort of squeeze in when I've got the time projects. But also I need to make sure that this doesn't take up more time than this. This has got to be the priority. This is the second priority, and this is the third priority. And then each of these projects will get divided up into tasks, and that is what I'm going to show you next. Right, okay, so this is all coming off now, and I am going to start from fresh. So this is my to-do, and this is my done, and this is my in process. I've drawn lines on it this time, which I didn't last time, but I just felt I wanted to make very clear columns. I've put burnt chocolate in the first column, which is my novel. My second column is for my essays, but I'm calling it Patreon because the essays go onto Patreon, but I also want to do lots of other things on Patreon, such as weekly blogs, possibly videos to a certain tier of patron. So I didn't want to just call it essays. That's what I'm trying to say. I've put my branding project here because purely because the column was smaller, and I would have a lot more post-it notes for my YouTube project. I have just finished planning all of my tasks for the final quarter of 2019. So that's October, November and December. And I am ready to crack on with my work and to start crossing off all of these tasks. Each post-it note here equals 1 task, and the different coloured post-its are to do with different projects. Okay, thank you very much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it has helped you to become a little bit more organised with your own projects. This, I should state that this is in no way my invention. This is something I learned from watching Sarah Cannon's videos on her Heart Breathings channel. I will link that below. She has talked about this at length, and she calls what I call my post-it task board, she calls it her Kanban board. It's a well-known process of moving tasks over from one side of the board to another once they've been completed. In the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you very soon for another video. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye. Bye.